podcast where we take a deep dive into all things ammunition. I'm your host, Audrey Mays, and today I'm live on the 2025 NRA show floor in the Remington booth with Editor-in-Chief of NRA's American Hunter, Scott Olmsted.
Hi, Audrey.
Hi. I know this is a busy weekend for you, so I'm so glad that we got to sit down and talk.
It is busy, but I enjoy some interaction like this too, because it's a lot of us have gone to a lot of trade shows, right? And so there's only so much sightseeing I can do. I'd rather visit with some people and can learn other ways.
Yeah, make some connections, definitely.
Sure.
Yeah. You've been a writer for a long time. I've read a lot of your stuff, obviously through Remington, but before that, when I was, a little fangirl. What led you to being a writer in the outdoor industry?
I started as a photographer. I'm a trained photojournalist. I was in the Marine Corps from 82 to 86 and was rotated over with my unit to Okinawa. And if you're a Marine in Okinawa, you buy one of two things. You either come home with a stereo or come home with a camera.
Okay.
I came home with a camera, a Minolta X700. Fast forward, I get out of the Marine Corps a couple years later. I'm going to community college because I know I need to get some kind of marketable skill. Infantrymen. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of demand for those skills in the civilian market.
Right.
So, I looked at Photo 101 and I thought I wanted to learn how to take my camera off automatic. Mm-hmm. And I took that class and I enjoyed it. And then I looked at some other ones and they had some prerequisites. I like this and I like that. And I took this and I took that. Before I knew it, I had a major, a 2-year degree. Mm-hmm. And I knew a 2-year degree wasn't enough to really work full time. So I looked around, what kind of 4-year did I had a 2-year degree in fine art photography. I didn't want to be a starving artist. It's a 4-year degree, photojournalism. Oh, work at a paper or a magazine. Uh-huh. That's full-time work. I could do that. So I looked at a handful of schools and I settled on the University of Missouri. It's the first, oldest, and best school of journalism in the world, founded in 1908. And I went there and majored in photojournalism. And I got out, went back to Northern Virginia, where I'm from, where I was raised. I was born in D.C. I grew up in Arlington, Virginia.
A Nova guy.
So I started using my skills. I worked at a chain of weeklies, got laid off there. We were in Chapter 11 in the early 90s. Then I started working for the Marine Corps as a contractor. I worked for this daily paper who sent me to Quantico to work with the Marine Public Affairs because I'd been a Marine and they needed, as part of our contract, help with their photography. And I befriended some Marines there, naturally. And 2 of them got out of the Marine Corps, actually got jobs at NRA Publications.
Okay.
And fast forward a little bit, I was now working at that daily paper, not at Quantico anymore, doing exactly what I love to do, what I'd been trained to do, running a photo desk, busy all the time, daily paper. And I'd started an MBA program because I was getting out of journalism because it eats its young. Mm-hmm. It's just tough. The only people making money in newspapers are the owner of the property, the publisher, and many times that's the same person.
Right.
And so if you're just a worker bee, and I planned on going into marketing. And then one of those Marines I mentioned called me and said, "Did you look at the paper today? Washington Post. Mm-hmm. American Hunter has a job, assistant editor. It's got you written all over it." So that was 27 years ago.
Okay.
May 26 in a month, that'll be my 27-year anniversary.
Oh my gosh, that's a great story.
I went there. I went to American Hunter as assistant editor and was still finishing my MBA, and I thought I'd leave, but I didn't.
Yeah.
It's a fun job.
It's almost like it was meant to be.
There just aren't many jobs like mine in America, and I recognize that. I acknowledge that. So.
Yeah.
When I was in the Marine Corps in the early 80s, I used to go to the PX or to the 7-Day Store, and I'd buy Peterson's Hunting magazine. Craig Boddington was the editor then, and he was a Marine. Mm-hmm. And I used to read his stories, and I thought, well, I could do that someday. Like, I grew up a hunter. I'm a gun guy. I'll be a former Marine someday. Mm-hmm. But then I forgot about that. I shelved it. I don't know why or how. And it didn't dawn on me that right there in Northern Virginia was NRA headquarters. Mm-hmm. I could have been looking there all along, but I wasn't. I was looking for other journalism jobs. So I became an editor, right? And I still shoot a lot of pictures, but not like I used to. Not nearly. Pretty much what I do now is I read and I write.
Okay.
I read everybody else's stuff. I get stuff from contributors. I read stuff from manufacturers, decide what we're going to do with it, what kind of content we're going to produce. Mm-hmm. And then I write a lot of my own stuff. And I take plenty of pictures, but not like I used to.
So storytelling just runs in your blood.
Yeah, I like it. That's what I like to tell people. I'm definitely a storyteller. I
Yeah.
like it. I like interactions with people. I learned in J school, to be good at this craft, you have to like people and make sure they know it. And that can go a long way.
Yeah,
It
forming
opens a lot of
connections.
doors.
Yeah.
And it gives you more stories. What I like to do both. What I write best, I think, is like adventure and personal discovery. I'm a gun guy, but I'm not the world's best on ballistics or bullets or firearm history. I know plenty of it, but that's not me. My thing is like interaction with other people,
Right.
flora and fauna, what happens on the hunt. I'm looking for a hook. I'm looking for something I can hang my hat on and make that story.
Right.
Some kind of angle, like bump at the end.
Yeah, nice
And,
rhythm.
Don't always find it, but that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like you're a big part of the hunting culture in America now. How do you feel about that?
I haven't thought about it like that. That's pretty daunting. That's pretty
a big
humbling.
title, yeah.
But I have met people over the years like, oh, it's Mr. Sesame himself. You
Yeah.
know, my little column, my editor's column on the letters page. I've met some people literally taking their hat off to shake my hand. That's pretty humbling. And I meet so many people who, I just said, I don't know everything about gun history and a lot, but I'm a voracious reader, so I have learned a whole lot. And being in this industry, I learned more from different interactions with different companies. So, you talk about being a big part of the culture, or a significant influence on the culture. Yeah, I meet lots of readers who they're just gun guys. They're just hunters. They just want to go kill their deer for this year or just go turkey hunting. They have like 3 guns, but we need more of those people. That's fine.
Yeah.
But when I meet them, I'm reminded quite often how much I know that they don't know.
Right.
Just because I have to, right? I have to be able to translate, how is this bullet built? I have to be able to describe that to somebody who maybe doesn't care.
To the novice hunter,
Right,
yeah.
right. And so that's important. That we take that seriously at American Hunter. We want to do it right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that American Hunter, and specifically what I've read of yours, is really good for hunters of any kind of caliber. Like people who are really into guns and bullets and the way that those things work can find something in American Hunter. People who just go hunting in their free time can find something in American Hunter.
Yeah, I try to make it like that. Little tough times recently, so my page counts are down. I wish I had more pages in any given month to create more of a supermarket
Right.
of content. Right now I'm kind of down to like, it's not a specialty store, but it's only just the facts, you know. We got our grazing section up front with some news stuff, maybe some book reviews in there or something. And we have a couple of know-how columns, then 3 or 4 features, and then our hardware, which is always some technical review of guns, ammo, and optics. And our gear page, which could be just about anything. And then that's about it. Members Hunt, the back page, extremely popular.
Yeah.
Could never kill that if I wanted to. It's a built-in, perfect for our readership. Perfect.
People would
Everybody
come after
goes
you.
to it.
Yeah.
Oh, they'd storm headquarters with
They would.
pitchforks and lanterns. We could never get rid of it.
No. I mean, yeah, it's a pinnacle of the magazine.
We just put to rest our June issue, and that's annually for I don't know how many years now, our members best, where we do a feature of everybody. It's a brag board.
Okay.
We ask members to send in, what's your favorite hunt from last year? And that is so much fun to read their little stories and see their pictures, and they're so happy to share it with us. And there's no end of them. It's something else I'll never kill in the magazine, because it gives a member a chance to maybe get on the cover.
Yes.
Or to get his little story in there with his trophy shot. It's better than down at the local check station. This is going to all of their neighbors
All over the world.
in the universe.
Yes.
And it's really, really popular.
Yes.
And it's so much fun to see elk, Africa, Marco Polo sheep, a turkey, an emperor goose from Cold Bay, Alaska. One guy shoots a woodcock. He's so proud of it, or whatever it is.
Right.
It's like, it's hunting for everybody, that's for sure.
No, it definitely is. And like we were talking about culture, I would say that Remington has been a part of the hunting industry, the shooting industry for a long time. The brand's kind of a cultural beast. And I just wanted to know, you have shot Remington ammunition in some of your articles. I have read them. I've sent you ammunition. What is a hunt that you went on with Remington ammo that is probably the most impactful to you?
There are several. Two of my favorite things to hunt in the world are Cape buffalo and elk for different reasons. But elk because it's just a majestic animal, and to me, it's the egalitarian big game in America. Everybody can hunt whitetails. You can't really always get to a moose hunt, or you can't afford it, or you're not going to draw for it. Pronghorns, they're out there, but elk, I think, is something everybody aspires to in North America.
American iconography.
And so I really love, and elk are like trout. Elk congregate in some of the most beautiful places on earth. It smells good, and they're talking to you. Well, I was doing an elk hunt with a Remington 783 rifle some time ago in a Remington load, and we're driving down a 2-track on this 12,000 acres going somewhere else. We slammed on the brake. There's a bull right there trotting around. Like, where'd you guys come from? And my guide's like, shoot that bull. Well, I was half out of the truck already. Swing around in front of the truck, blam. And at that time, it was the biggest elk I'd ever killed.
Oh my
gosh. It was great. It was just like Christmas morning. But I shot him. We had to make sure he goes down, and he went over this hill, and we couldn't see him. So we walk over there, and it's literally getting dark. And we're like, where is he? Where is he? We got to get the flashlight, and it's like Christmas morning. Look at that.
My gosh, right there. That's so great. The adrenaline had to be in your ears when you jumped out of that car.
It's great when, and you know, not too far from a road either. Like, we could drive the truck over there and load him up. It wasn't going to be that hard.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Like the perfect hunt. Yeah. The perfect end to a hunt, I suppose you could say.
Well, one I told you about earlier today when we were speaking that I really enjoyed. The most recent Remington hunt that I really liked was 2 years ago with Joel Hodgson before he left Remington. We were hunting the Chihuahua Desert, way south of Marfa, Texas, middle of nowhere. I mean, there's nothing out there. Huge ranch, and I'd hunted it the year before with him for Aldad, and he said we're going back for mule deer. I'm like, they got mule deer there? I saw like 2, and they were slickheads.
Oh yeah,
they were does. I'm like, they got trophy mule deer.
Oh yeah,
and we were driving around that morning, first or second morning of my hunt. And we made a stalk. I didn't have to go too far, and I sat down. I came up with a shooting solution, and I shot a 170-inch mule deer. It was a great deer. Tickled. Good shot, good hunt, plenty to write about. Great animal, great picture, great background. So later that day, I'm riding around with Joel and Ron Spomer, another outdoor writer, and I'm just a backseat guy now. I want to go along for the ride, something to do. My guide went elsewhere on the ranch to try to scout for the remaining people with tags open. And he found a giant deer. He hustles back to the lodge, it's a bunkhouse, finds that other guy, hunter, and his guide. They zoom out there, the animal's still there, and it was a Remington customer, and he shot a 230-inch mule deer. It was unbelievably big. So we hear on this, like, we get a text. Oh, let's drive over there. It takes us like 30 minutes to get over there. Oh, wow, what did he, and his name was Scott. What did Scott shoot? Wow, they say it's pretty good. Really? Okay. So we park, we pile out of our Toyota, we come walking around the back of this other guy, and it just gets bigger and bigger. And you can just see the rack. I'm like, and my guide had found it for him. And he sees the look on my face, and he's like, I swear we didn't see this deer when we were hunting together. Don't get any ideas.
I didn't save it for this guy. That's awesome. I love when you walk up on a deer and instead of getting smaller, it gets bigger. That's when you know you made
shrinkage.
It. Yes.
That thing must have been 30-something inches wide, 230 inches of horn. It was unbelievable. Yeah. But I've never even been a part of an experience like that. So I was tickled for anybody to bring that animal back to camp. That was fun. You can only dwell on it this long. What if it was me? Well, it wasn't. Just get over it.
Still cool.
It's still cool.
Great.
I was here.
Yeah.
I was here for the role. That just doesn't happen all the time. I've never seen a 230-inch deer in the back of a truck.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Well, even a lot of people go out west to hunt mule deer, and I understand in the mountains, it's beautiful, it's great, the country's amazing. But in the desert, it's different.
Yeah.
They're a different animal out there.
It's a whole, and there's an ecosystem that is just hard to understand when all you're in search of is water.
Yes.
Like, for humans to be out there, like, and I looked up to write that story last year, and I did a lot of research on the Chihuahua Desert. It's a huge ecosystem. It's one of the largest desert systems in the world, and we were right in it. And And no kidding, we didn't see any migrants coming through that ranch. Because when you get up on a high point, all you can see is desert mountains for miles. And there's no water anywhere.
Yeah.
So you're not coming to America through that landscape.
You're not going to make it. I would be impressed, honestly, if someone could, because that would be perilous almost to make it through that desert.
The only water we found were like old stock tanks covered with like film and filth. And you know those poor people are drinking that if they come across it. But you look at it and it turns your stomach.
Yeah.
You know, it's that thick of green stuff on top.
Right. And then you walk into the truck and you grab a water bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love that. And you know, like I said, Remington's been around for a long time. It's had a lot of impact. And hunting stories like that have originated from people being able to acquire guns and ammunition from Remington. And it's brought a lot of joy into people's lives. That's why I love the brand. And I was just wondering, you know, big picture, you know, when you think Remington, what do you think in terms of like cultural hunting America?
I think there are Remington firearms in most hunters' homes across America. Everybody's heard of Remington. There are core-lock bullets, some half-used boxes in most hunters' homes across America. And that's, I think, core-locked is what I think of first and foremost when I think Remington.
Yeah.
When I think about the universe of hunters, everybody's heard of core-lock. They've been using that bullet for as long as I've been alive. And it's extremely popular. And it does the job, and it doesn't break the bank.
Right.
You know, it's a great bullet to do a lot of things. You do your part, it's going to be great. And I just think people, when they think Remington, I think first thing I see is like a big green R in my mind.
Absolutely.
The R, the Remington R. I think that. So yeah, it used to be called Big Green. You don't hear people saying that so much anymore, but it's still evident. People still think of it that way. But I think of the Big Green R.
Yeah.
And it's just, I am so glad Remington Ammo has been thriving lately with everything that the brand was dragged through, and that a corporation like this got hold of Remington to save it for America.
Yes.
You know, it's a turnkey operation. You can, the Kinetic Group or Federal or whatever could always spin it off if you want, and it could be fine, and everybody, and it could sell it, but they saved it. They saved the brand.
Yeah, preserved
for the
it.
American landscape.
Absolutely.
And I can appreciate that. But back to 1815, I've seen the forge in the gorge.
Yeah.
I went to the Remington plant and I filmed quite a bit there. In 2017, was it? I can't remember exactly. 16. So I went to Ilion, and I've been actually while I was waiting to speak with you. This is 3 years ago. Our videographer Tom and I, we were at the Low Note plant, and we filmed a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So these are some pictures that just came up on my Facebook memory feed this afternoon. I'm like, oh, actually, I want to see that. That's
You're
pretty
like, that'll
cool.
work. Yeah. I so when they moved Remington Arms, the firearm company, from Ilion, New York to LaGrange, Georgia, which they have in the last year, I got one of the last 870s out of Ilion, New York.
Nice.
And it says Ilion, New York on it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what a gold mine. I'll save that for the rest of my life.
Nice.
Yeah.
Everybody needs one. I didn't have one. Several years ago, I helped a friend get rid of his father's guns. The man didn't have anything great, but I went over there with a blue book of gun values and told him what he had and told him what he could get. And then I helped him get rid of some of them because he didn't know anybody. And he had an 870. And the Game Master, what was it called, from the 70s. 2 3/4 inch gun. Not even a screw-in choke. I'm like, $100. I had to have an 870. Like, a man needs to earn an 870.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm there with you. But, well, like I said, Scott, you're a huge, cultural hub of the American hunting industry. I'm so glad that I got to sit here and talk to you. You're a great storyteller, so I really appreciate it.
Thanks. Appreciate it. I had a good time.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, guys. Remington is on the rise. Like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to share this podcast with your hunting or shooting buddies. If you have any questions for me or Scott here, you can email me at podcast@remington.com. Thanks for listening.